Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome to a brand new installment of Future Langrisser. Well, not necessarily brand new, but this is for the global version of the major update preview. So anyways, I have already made this asset for the video like at least last week, and I was like holding on to this project for quite some time, and I'm gonna have to record this now, otherwise I'll forget. So I'm gonna record this in advance, so you will be able to see this video for everyone around the time of when this is gonna be released. This time around, we're gonna take a look at the update that's gonna add Alia and Ilia into the game. So let's get right into it and see what they have in store. And spoiler alert, you're gonna need one of these two to be part of the meta team. Although it's of course optional if you don't have much resources, but I highly recommend you try to get Alia at least. You can get Alia if you like, but I think in order for you to fully build Alia, you're also gonna need Alia, which I guess that makes sense because usually Zilong likes to do stuff like force you to summon another hero just to completely build your preferred units. So, anyways, let's start by taking a look at Alia. We'll start by something that's like pretty decent but not the greatest. So this is Alia, and keep in mind the faction that I'm going to show you all here. That both are on the same exact three factions. So both of them are going to have Legion of Glory, Princess Alliance, and Origins of Light. Yes, I'm not even kidding. These two are running the same faction for each other. So I mean, it makes sense since they're both twins within the Wonder Swan Langrisser Wonder Swan. Like, well, I should call it Langrisser Millennium Wonder Swan. I mean, WS stands for that. Stands for the console's name. So, anyways, this is Alia. Her class, both are holy units, by the way. Both are holy classes, which is pretty interesting to have. Although it's not really unique because we have other characters that has like a double of the same class, but serves somewhat different purposes. So yeah, she's not the first one. That's for certain. Anyways, her talent, a chapter of fortune, and by the way, this the name itself might be close to Global's actual name, but the reason why I say this is because I don't usually use the banner news for this kind of translation because most of the time their translation is kind of a hit or miss. That's what I'm trying to say. So, anyways, damage dealt plus 15 to 30% depending on star level. Initially, Alia has three types of lucky effects, and this is her main gimmick. She has the luck is actually one of her first one. When ending action, heals nearby allies within 2 blocks equal to 1 times of her int. And she has a strong luck as the other option. Attack and int plus 10%. And she has luck 2, which I don't think they're going to call it like that in global, so we're going to keep it as luck 2 for now. Get one random buff at the end of the action. Each type of effect can last for a maximum of 3 stacks at a time and can't be dispelled. That might be some word errors, but I don't think these are permanent. I don't think so. Anyways, we'll have to wait and see how they go. At the start of the turn or round, you'll receive one random luck effect. If a hero has 2 or more lucky effects of the same type, Alia's range is increased by 2. If the hero has 3 of the same type, the cooldown of all damage skills the hero uses will be refreshed. Yes, you heard that right. So Alia is a, although I'll say it's a pretty decent unit, but not really the best like compared to a twin sister, which we're gonna talk about later. So yeah, her kit is based around luck, and also if you have like those conditions met, she's gonna be a lot useful out there. But most of the time, you would probably want to have someone else out there instead of her, because I think for majority of this, she's more like a support side character rather than like an attacker. I would say like a magical attacker. So, anyways, these are the skills that she comes with. Turn of Fortune, which is the one that I use for the translation that I did with this one. Turn of Fortune is actually the somewhat of a almost accurate translation from the ChatGPT, but I sometimes use ChatGPT for translations purposes, so that way it doesn't end up being weird when I'm trying to represent the video. So, anyways, As an active skill, choose one skill to use on allies. Then gains a random other lucky effect equal to the amount of luck spent on the skill. And she has 3 different versions of luck on here, of course, and this will be the blessed version of the existing luck based on her talent. So if you get the blessing of luck, recovers 15% HP, consumes up to 3 luck, and each recover an additional 15% HP. Yeah, so yeah, it depends on how many lucks you have. If you have like 3 of these, you're gonna heal a lot. So that is gonna be this is gonna be nice to have. And just that the blessing of the strong luck increases attack and in by 15%, and this will last for 2 turns. Consumes up to 3 strong luck, each increasing the buff value by 5%. Yeah, the same thing with the other luck. So if you end up having 3 of these stacks, you're gonna have a even stronger buff on there, which is nice to have for Alia. And then we also, of course, have Blessing of Luck 2. Applies 1 random buff lasting for 2 rounds, consuming up to 3 Luck 2s, each applying an additional random buff effect. So if you have three stacks of the same buff, you're gonna get 3 random buffs, which is pretty nice. And then after using any of these above skills, the number of buff turns will not be reduced and can perform an additional action. The ability of this action is the remaining ability when using the skill and can attack again. So yeah, as long as you're like you know how to use this skill, you could pretty much do a lot of work with Alia, no problem. But as long as you know what you're doing. And then she also comes with a 2C skill called Lucky Strike. Is a 2-turn cooldown, 2 blocks, and single target. And I forgot to mention the the cooldown for the previous skill. Anyways, the turn of fortune is 1 turn cooldown, 2 blocks, and single target. Pretty quick, but it's actually easy to use. And the Lucky Strike is a magic damage skill. Attacks one enemy, dealing 1.4 times damage and recovering 30% of the damage dealt to HP after combat. If there are 2 or more identical lucky effects, this attack ignores 20% of enemies' magic defense during combat. So yeah, this skill sounds pretty simple, but very powerful. So as long as you met the condition of like having 2 or more of the same lucky effect, you're gonna be able to ignore 20% of the enemy's MDEF, which is pretty insane. Because most of the latest characters, or I should say modern characters nowadays, have the capability of be a power creep or whatever. Well, of course, still have the balance in consideration, but you get my idea. Those units can sometimes be busted, while sometimes can be a miss, I would say. And finally, let's talk about her 3C skill. It's called the Divine Favor's Judgment. It's a 3-turn cooldown, 2 blocks range, and it's a single target attack. And before we talk about what the actual skill does, the passive part of this skill is that when the hero has 3 or more lucky effects of the same type, when actively attacking, the enemy can't counterattack during combat. So this kind of reminds me of Isolde's 3C. Well, yeah, it is 3C. So kind of similar to that aspects, but this is based on the luck stacks that you have. If you have like 3 or more of the same type or whatever, your enemy would not be able to counterattack, even if they had the range to do so. But for Isolde's case, if she has 2 stacks of her will, like the wills that can be activated permanently, your opponent cannot counterattack when she's using her 3C. So it works like exactly like that, but in a different way for Alia. And now let's talk about her damage part of this. Attacks one enemy, dealing 1.6 times damage. After combat, can move 1 additional block for each lucky effect Alia has. At the end of the action, can actively choose to gain 1 additional luck. This luck will not be replaced or consumed, lasts for 2 turns, and cannot be dispelled. So yeah, that's a lot of that's like a word full of the grammar is a bit weird on there, but I guess it'll kind of make sense over time. But anyways, yeah, this skill by far is okay. Like, it's actually pretty good, but we'll move on to the next character now because I don't have much to say about this skill because overall it's really strong in its own right. Okay, next up, let's talk about Ilia, which is the other character we'll be getting in this update. And just like her twin sister, she runs the same three factions like I mentioned earlier: Legion of Glory, Princess Alliance, and Origins of Light. And the class she has is like this Mage class and the Holy class. So you have two options you can go for her, which is nice to have. Although I gotta say, Holy class, although they've been dominating for in the meta for a long time, but when LR Vargas comes along, I don't know what to say, man. Holy class might be dead. So although not entirely dead per se, they still have a purpose, but it's just that they're not gonna be helpful when Dragon Slayer comes along. That's one thing I'm trying to say. Anyways, her talent, Maiden of Justice. Damage dealt plus 15 to 30%, depending on star level. At the end of the effect, can summon Angel of Justice to Ilia's location. After ally within 3 blocks around Angel of Justice have entered combat, restores their HP equal to 2 times of Ilia's int. If there's already an ally Angel of Justice on the field, can move it to Ilia's location. And there's a trigger cooldown on this one. Can be triggered again after 2 turns. And then Angels of Justice is considered within the range of hero skill. So kind of like Sagani's case, I would say. Sagani or Patricia in any way. Her with the Angel of Justice within her attack range makes it sound very flexible when it comes to rush players. So I think this unit is actually very well suited for rush, based on what I hear about her talent. Anyways, at the end of the effect, if Ilia is standing within one ring around Angel of Justice, gains 1 stack of spiritual perception. Which what this does that Angel of Justice range is increased by 2, in plus 5%, damage skill reduced by 1 turn. Okay, so when I mean damage skill reduced by 1 turn, it's most likely like damage skill cooldown reduced or something. Yeah, I think it's a cooldown thing. It could be a wording error, but I'll fix it with the lang wiki. So yep, keep that in mind. And also, this can be stacked a max of 3 to 5, depending on star level, and you cannot dispel it in any other way, which is good because most unique buffs usually are not dispellable. So yeah, there you go. That's we're granted here. Anyways, this is her skills that she comes with. 2C skill, resolve to repel evil. It's a not 2 turn. It's a 4 turn cooldown, and this can hit anywhere on the map, and is a 5 blocks AOE. And the passive part of this skill is that if the hero has 2 or more layers or stacks, a spiritual perception, when enemies move within the range of Angel of Justice, they will spend an additional 1 ability. So it's kind of like kind of like you're trying to walk on water within the Angel of Justice. And then and also this one uses magic damage on Ilia or Angel's Justice. Deals 0.3 times AoE damage to all enemies within 5 blocks around the target, and causes a teleportation effect on all enemies hit after attacking. What this does is that it teleports the enemy to the position 3 blocks away from the Ilia or Angel of Justice range. So this right there is like basically really good, like really powerful. In fact, like basically it forces your opponent to like misposition their team. And also, even if you have Hilda, that doesn't protect them against the displacement because that kind of effect is considered teleportation. So yeah, Hilda has has like nothing to stop that. So yeah, if you have Hilda on the team, yeah, I'm kind of feeling the tank push could be dead with this new addition. But although you can make tank push work, but the thing is, it'll be super hard to enjoy the game, honestly. And then 1C skill, Radiance of Principle. 4 turn cooldown, 3 blocks range, single target. And is an assist skill, and is also considered active skill, by the way. A target ally gains 1 stack of spiritual awareness, and this basically gets them immunity 1 debuff, kind of like Rose and Seal stacks. And for each stack of spiritual perception Ilia has, an additional stack will be applied, stacked up to 5, which is nice. can't be dispelled. After use, can move another 2 blocks and attack again. Yeah, so this one is actually pretty powerful, despite being a one C skill. This one works like Rosensteel's like those crystal barrier that she creates. It works exactly like that, but she has to have like a enough amount of spiritual perception to get multiple applied on there, and you can stack up to 5, just like Rosensteel's crystal barrier. And also, when you're using this skill, all the buffs that she has will not lose their turn count, which is nice. And also, after using the skill, she will be able to move 2 blocks in an attack. So this one works like a act again, like self act again, like most units have nowadays. And finally, we have the 3C skill, Radiance of the Archangel. It's a 3-turn cooldown, 2 blocks, and it's a single target skill. And the passive part of this skill is that all allies' defense and magic defense within 2 blocks around Angel of Justice are increased by 15%. Alia will not die when receiving fatal damage. Instead, HP will be restored by 30%, and Angel Justice and all spiritual perception will be removed, only trigger once per map. So yes, she has like a revive automatically on her 3C when you unlocked it, which is nice. And the magic damage and this does magic damage, attacks one enemy, dealing 1.6 times damage. When successfully eliminating the enemy, gains 1 stack of spiritual perception. After using an active skill, all allies within the Angel of Justice range will gain 2 stacks of spiritual awareness. And this one basically does what I did already told you, immune to 1 debuff, which can be stacked up to 5 times and can be dispelled. So that one right there is actually pretty strong. So Alia as a whole, she's a must-have. If you think about getting getting like a preferred rush team or whatever, Alia is perfect for that role. That is for sure, for certain, I would say. All right, I have enough rumbling with those new heroes now, so I'm gonna move on to the next part of the video, which is the what banners are we gonna expect in this update. So initially, from the Langwiki's update info, I had to make some changes regarding like certain banners that might go live because in global version of the Langrisser, they did add some banners I did not quite expect that they would do. Like they introduced the Tensei Heroes banner earlier than I expected, so I'm going to put it in here just in case they decide to rerun that banner on this update as well. So anyways, first week we'll be expecting, of course, the new heroes. Starting on the 16th of January all the way to February 12th. And these two will be available for a decent amount of time. And then if you care about other units, such as the other ones that will appear on the next couple of weeks, we have the radar banner for Tabris and Jace. And they will begin on the 23rd of January, and it will end around the 5th of February. And on that week, there's also going to be Wish Banner for Langrisser 1, 2, and 3. And it's also the Wish Banner for Langrisser Mobile 1 and Mobile 2 heroes. Well, I mean the Mobile 1 and Mobile 2 are basically the ones like from the the Acts 1 and Act 2 ones. Yeah, that's why I categorize those as Mobile 1 and Mobile 2. Anyways, on the third week we have we have Transcender, Leobeg, and Poliol, and this one represents I would say Mythical Realm faction theme, but I might be wrong. But it could be Dark as well because all three of them are also from Dark Reincarnation. So this banner will run from the 30th of January all the way to the February 12th, which is the end of the major update cycle. And on that same week, there's going to be Langrisser 4 and 5 Wish banner. And then on the fourth week, starting on the 6th of February, we'll have 2 Destiny banners featuring Prezia, Sissy White, and Mariandel. And then the classic recurring banner of Lennon, Rachel, and Alta Muller. And then there's also a Wish banner for Tensei heroes, just in case they did come back on that week. So anyways, I'm a little bit concerned about the classic returning banner, like the Destiny banner. I have a feeling that Zealand could probably ditch that in the future because we have those recurring banners now, like with the Langrisser 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 5, etc. Like we got those already, so I have a feeling they might ditch that, but hopefully not, because these banners do give you a lot of values when it comes to, especially to those who have started the account or who I start playing the game. I honestly don't want them to delete that off the cycle, honestly. Because I'm starting to see CN not able to deliver that banner for whatever reason, but let's hope that's just a false rumor or whatever. So, anyways, we're gonna move on to the next part, which is the what events slash changes to expect. So we might end up seeing Endless Voyage coming back in this update, but I don't know if they're actually gonna be back here, but maybe they are, but we'll have to see. And we might also expect other modes actually instead of this. So, yeah, I'm not too sure if they're gonna run Endless Voyage here because this was actually mentioned in the main code's CN chat. And also, the selecting terrains will now display the amount of mobility will be consumed. This was already live since Enya's update, which was the one that we're currently at right now, soon to be over. So yeah, we occasionally get those updates much faster than the CN, which is interesting. Okay, next up, let's talk about a new confession and exclusive. So first up, let's talk about new exclusive. So this time around, the update will add Tabris's new headwear, and this one increases her HP by 10%. After an ally was attacked by an enemy, inflict one stack of Shadow Feather to the attacker. When entering combat with a skill, for each stack of Shadow Feather on the enemy, the skill's cooldown is reduced by one turn. So yeah, this helmet is pretty solid to those who are a Tabris main or whoever. But yeah, overall, should be very powerful out there. I doubt that, but we'll have to see because I've seen some people did bring Tabris to Apex ladder climbing, but I don't know. Most of the time, she's easy to defeat or eliminate. So, anyways, I don't know if that's gonna make any difference for that, but we'll have to see how it goes. And the new confession for this update is Bright Summoner. If you've been using Bright Summoner for a lot, especially in Apex PvP, you'll be able to see how many battles you fought with her, even outside of PvP. So I'm curious, how many battles have you brought her in any battle? It doesn't matter which mode it is. I'm a little curious. Although we'll find out when the time comes. And of course, let's not forget about the new casting skills. So this time around, we have the four heroes. Funny enough, like fun fact, this update was supposed to have Shine Resonance collab rerun, but we got it early, so I don't think they're gonna rerun it on this update. Honestly, it'll be pretty funny if they did that, but I highly doubt they're gonna do that. But I would say no, just to be safe here. Although, yeah, this is where those three characters should shine rather than like getting these characters rerun early. So, anyways, first up, before we talk about those guys, let's talk about Yulia. Well, I should say ladies, I would say, because there aren't any men in this casting skill lineup. So Yulia's casting skill, a lot of people say she's a disappointing addition. I would say when it comes to casting skill, because all it is just increase her int, and also when her HP is above 70%, she's gonna have one extra mobility. That on paper works okay in PvE, but for PvP, could have done more. Honestly, Zilong, what's with you not helping Yulia? She is dying, and you just let her dig into her grave. Like, what in the world? You just make Yulia, like, I would say, have no hope of coming to Apex whatsoever. She used to be good back then, but now she's just in her grave even deeper, which is unfortunate. And moving on, let's talk about the three Shining Resonance ladies. So we got Sonya. The buff and debuff applied by Sonya will last one more turn. That's pretty useful. The Versus Attract skill range is increased to the entire field. That's helpful as well. Because, in the past, Sonya is pretty much a garbage unit. Even Loomis says so as well. That was back in the day. But now her with the Versus Attract skill being infinite range, that's huge. Because you can hit anyone you want, regardless of where you're standing. And when using Sandspark skill, if the enemy has dual mark or whatever, that enemy will lose control for the next turn. So it mostly depends on whether you can resist it, because I kind of think this is resistible. Like, for example, if you try to do it on Ymir, no, it's not gonna make him lose control, because I kind of feel that kind of debuff is actually like not something you can actually apply to him, because it's considered a debuff and it doesn't have that thing that can ignore immunity. So yeah, Sonya's is I would say is a mixed bag. If you unless you're finding someone other than Ymir, then yeah, it could be helpful. But most of the time, there's already someone that can resist. So yeah, we'll just have to see how Sonya will play out on the field now because she is going to be kind of a hit or miss based on her new casting skill. Okay, moving on, we got Kirika, the other lady from Shining Resonance. If Kirika has 4 stacks of Divine String, and when she used Tsubame Oroshi skill, she can act again, which is nice. I mean, she's been lacking on that for, I don't know, how long was it? Like maybe at least a year or two? Yeah, she's been lacking that for so long, and now she's getting some love here. For each enemy hit by Brilliant Flash, which is her 3C skill, Brilliant Flash's skill cooldown is reduced by 1 turn. So yeah, depending on how many enemies you hit with the 3C, you can literally get the skill back quicker than you normally would. So do I think Kirika is broken? I would say yeah, for sure. Because she really needs this buff and she well deserved it. Will I see Kirika more in Apex? I would say maybe. Maybe it's possible, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes with this meta because Kirika might be coming back by this. And finally, Excella, the third and final character from the Shining Resonance, getting a new casting skill. Kind of funny enough, I think this is the first time Zilong decided to roll out all 3 units from the one collab with their casting all of them at once. I think this is the first time they did this, which is pretty nice to have. Although what thing that's not nice is that they treated Excella poorly with her 3C, not her 3C, with her casting skill. What I mean by that is that it increases her attack by 5%, which is okay. After using Ancient Song skill, she gains Escalation, and this is her unique buff. And she can attack again after use, but here's a big but: Excella cannot move. So that's the one thing that draw her down, or I should say drag her down or whatever. Like she can act again, but you cannot move after that. Like how does that make any sense? Exa could be excellent if she dropped the thing like where she couldn't move, but wow. I guess Zilong really don't want people to take advantage of like, free units. Although there are some exceptions with other free units in the past, like Iris, they gave her a really decent casting skill. But for Excella, no. What in the world? Like, why would you give her something that can actually hinder her rather than helping her? So yeah, that part I do not understand, honestly. Although, sure, it could be powerful, but as long as there's an enemy next to you, so yeah. If you weren't able to kill that person the first time, then next time you can definitely kill. But in most case scenarios, you do not want this to happen. Like, you can act again, but if you cannot move after that, then yeah, you're pretty much a sitting duck. And before we end this video, I want to give you a reminder of what's coming next because the next update could be something you might want to look after. And this one will be the next major update featuring Sapphire and Nonorin that will be coming next. And you may want to poll for them as they are viable for PvP. So yeah, what I mean viable is that they both are pretty good, but however, Sapphire, yeah, that's for sure. But for Nonorin, it really depends because she likes to be on water most of the time because she's mostly an infantry and aquatic. I think that's what her classes are, but the reason I'm a bit skeptical about Nonorin's addition is that, in case you guys forgot, Lemia exists on the game. So since, like I said earlier, if Nonorin capitalizes like being in water, Lemia is gonna pick her off so easily if she's not careful. So yeah, that's the one thing I'm a bit concerned about because Lemia has not left the meta ever since of her introduction. So yeah, I'm not too sure if Lunora is probably going to be dead on arrival, but we'll have to see how it goes from there. Of course, there are always ways to counteract against Lemia. Is of course banner whenever you can. Anyways, I'll leave the video at this for now, and I hope y'all find this video informative, helpful, or whatever. I'll see you all next time, and have a good day.